forum here at the White Horse, focusing on the Democratic primary for the 7th District Genesee County Board of Commissioners seat currently held by Archie Bailey, who has decided not to run for re-election. It is an open seat. We have 3 of the 4 candidates here. They are Bill Bain, Andrew Everman, and Michael Lynch, or Andy and Mike, as we've been referring to them, and probably will throughout the proceedings. We also have our esteemed premier political pundits, Paul Rosicki and George Moss, and the news director from WFNT, Jason Cooper, here as panelists asking the questions. And we'll get things underway. And again, thanks to Captain Jack, who's running the sound for us here at the White Horse, and our timekeeper and associate producer, if you will, Andrea Sutton. Again, we're going to get right into the questions from our panelists, and we have, starting out, Paul Rosicki. The first question will go to Bill Bain. You have 90 seconds for your response, and if you hear the bell, that means you have 15 seconds to complete your answer. Also, for the panelists, 30 seconds to set up the context for your questions. And once again, this week, I'm really surprised the candidates have been briefer than you expect people running for political office to be, and the panelists, or at least one of the panelists, a little windier than you expect pundits to be, but in any event, we'll get into it. Paul, you have the first question, and it's for Bill Bain, and then everyone will have a chance to respond.
All right, very good. Fracking has been a big issue in Genesee County, in terms of hydraulic fracking especially. Do you favor fracking as a means of creating jobs, or do you oppose it because of the environmental concerns?
I strongly oppose fracking in the state of Michigan. Our Great Lakes are a treasure. On April 1st, Governor Rick Snyder signed a series of 3 bad bills. First of all, the first bill gave the oil companies a 40% cut off the severance tax in order to develop more fracking. The others were like basically a land grab type thing for eminent domain like the government has. They're trying to extend that, open the door for oil companies. You pay your property taxes, you shouldn't have big business coming out trying to go ahead and rub you and go ahead and squeeze you to go ahead and give up your property rights. So no, I strongly oppose fracking. Our Great Lakes, we need to protect them, and you look at all the problems in the state of Oklahoma. We don't need earthquakes here, especially in our state. So that's how I feel about that.
Thank you.
Okay, same question to Andy Everman.
I oppose fracking. I have some major concerns about our state legislature that didn't stand up both sides of the aisle to make sure that we did not have fracking. Ohio, within the past 2 months, has finished a study on fracking and how it causes earthquakes. As I understand it, as you drill down, you use hot water with chemicals. The companies are not required to release the chemicals used, that they are, once they do this, if you have a problem, your property is adjoining to where they did the fracking. If you didn't build your case prior to the fracking starting, you really have a difficult time making a case. Then you have the brine that comes up, which is basically salt and can destroy the topsoil. Then after they're done, they inject in the deep wells the residue from the bottom of the chemicals, which do not have, we don't know if they'll get released back into our drinking water centuries from now or 10 years from now. So it's something that we need to take very seriously and not allow it to happen. However, as a county commissioner, there's not much we can do. It's up to our state legislature.
All right, Mike Lynch, same question.
Well, I agree that it's a lot to do with our state legislature, but I am not opposed to fracking and the opportunity for jobs and to get away from our, get some independence away from the other countries that we're buying our oils from. Having said that, though, I too am a serious outdoorsman and believe in we need to take care of our Great Lakes and our natural resources here. So I think that if there's going to be some fracking, we need to have some disclosure in the chemicals that they're using, what they're doing with it, and I think that with that disclosure there needs to come some responsibility, that if they do make a mess of something, that they have to completely clean it up and take care of the people that it has been affected by. So I'm not opposed to fracking, but I think there needs to be disclosure and liability.
Okay, the next question comes from Jason Cooper at WFNT, and first responder, I don't think I've used that phrase in one of these, will be Andy Everman.
Thank you, Tom. Genesee County, pretty quick to hop on the Carignan Water Authority. I think it was a smart decision not to be reliant on Detroit any longer with all their problems, DWSD. But in the meantime, in the short term, for the next couple of years, we had to negotiate a short-term water purchasing contract with them. And the rates are going to go up 20% next year, 10% the year after that. We already know about the high water prices in the city of Flint, but now it seems like it's going to spread elsewhere throughout the county. Is there anything you can do as county commissioner to maybe make it easier on residents, or are they just going to have to bite the bullet for the next couple of years?
I don't know. I don't know because I'm not in the position to have looked at that contract to have the full understanding of what we can and can't do as it relates to negotiation. One would hope that we could have negotiated a reduced rate. Perhaps we will have to pay more for the short term. I will be highly disappointed if we finish the pipeline and our water prices continue to escalate like they have now. While a university student in the public administration program at U of M Flint, we wrote a paper, a team paper on building the water line to Port Huron and the advantages and disadvantages. There are so many advantages for our community that opens it up for long-term what we can do for the new type of manufacturing renaissance that's going to take place. Our strategic location with not only the airport's rail and expressways converging in this area and having the access to the water, we have a great future in Genesee County. It's just we're building it piece by piece.
Michael Lynch, same question.
Well, as a building tradesman, I've been in support of the KWA water line right from the start. I've been pretty much most of the meetings. I think it's a great idea. We need to separate ourselves from Detroit. As far as the rise in the price of our water coming out of Detroit, I do believe that's short term. I'm hoping short term. We may have to bite the bullet. I know that if we hadn't put this line in over and all the way to Port Huron, we would have been paying those prices long term with Detroit because their infrastructure is deteriorating, and they would have put those prices on these people in Genesee County. We're the highest area to pump to. It would have cost us the most to fix their water line, and we would still have been dependent on it. So I'm in full support of the Carignan water line. And as far as I'm not sure that all of the prices coming right now is strictly because of Detroit. I think there's some stuff going on with our emergency manager, helping do some funding on that. That's my guess.
Okay, the same question, Bill Bain.
I always have supported this water line project. It is very unfortunate the cost is going to be more for the residents, but hopefully we could get more people to take part, you know, to try to get onto the system. And that over time could bring the prices down. So that's something I think we should actively try to seek to get more people to go in on the line. So that's what I would recommend.
Okay. The next question goes to George Moss, and the first of the responses will come from Michael Lynch.
I want to commend the members that are here for the 7th District. You're very qualified candidates, all of you very, very impressive. Since you've been so brief, I'll take your time and compose my question. I do want to talk about a report that I came across which said that at least $100 million have been wasted over the last 10 years. That will be $10 million a year. Do you intend to find out, if you are elected, how that happened? And do you intend to go after that money that is in fact inappropriately spent? I think that goes to Michael Lynch.
I'm unaware of that amounts that you're talking about, but as far as if I would be willing to look back, of course, I think that's part of what we need to do is look back. And if there's monies owed to the county, then I think that we should do everything we can to get those monies. But I'm unaware at this time of those funds.
Okay, same question, Bill Bain.
Yeah, I was unaware of it too, but do you, can I ask a question back more precisely? Where did those losses, where were those losses particularly?
Some of it was overbilling, billing the same thing, not keeping record of the inventory, ordering the things you've already ordered, things of that sort, and also paying out monies for services that were not delivered.
Well, I tell you what, we need to crack down on fraud, and I tell you what, we need to audit these departments, and we need to make sure things are done right. Taxpayers, they pay enough taxes here, and we need to be good stewards of that money. And I appreciate you bringing that to our attention, but if it requires audits, we need to find out where the hemorrhaging is occurring.
Andy Everman, same question.
$10 million a year. Well, for you, that's milk and butter money. For me, that's serious money. If, in fact, there's fraud going on, has there been a convening of I can't think of the name of it, they do it, the court convenes a grand jury to investigate, which, if there's illegal activities that have taken place, by all means, we need to prosecute fully and go after the money to get it back. And people need to be made an example that this type of behavior in public service at any level, whether you're a county commissioner or a state rep, which I don't know that they're involved in it, but even the employees, if there's this type of graft or corruption, if it truly exists, they need to be made an example and shown to the rest of the community. We will not tolerate that in Genesee County.
Thank you. We'll be back with another round of questions for our candidates right after this.
Is that a clapper time? Yeah, get ready for 5 rounds.
Welcome back. This is Candidate Forum at the White Horse. I'm Tom Sumner. We are looking at the 7th District seat on the County Board of Commissioners with candidates Bill Bain, Andy Everman, and Mike Lynch. Our panelists are Paul Rosicki, George Moss, and Jason Cooper. We start the round of questions for this segment with Paul Rosicki from Community College.
Right. In recent years, there's been a lot of conflict between the county board and major department heads, the sheriff, the prosecutor, the treasurer, and a few others, and that's resulted in a lot of lawsuits. In an era of tight budgets, is there a way to reduce that conflict and avoid those lawsuits?
Yeah, we'll begin the responses with Bill Bain in this segment.
Well, we need to go ahead when we are doing the budget, which is going to be again up in September. We need to look at all the departments and make sure they're properly funded. It's a free country, people can do litigation, but we need to do things so we're not put in that position. We need to make sure that things are safe at the jail, that we have more than one jail guard on duty at a particular time. And we also need to protect those people who are incarcerated. I mean, that's all about staffing. And I know there's a lot of needs out there for the departments, but we need to go line by line and look at what we can do.
Same question, Andrew Everman.
You're not going to change that on me at the last minute. So the question is, we're going to
way to reduce conflict? I mean, we've had a lot of lawsuits between the board and the department heads. Can or should that be reduced? Should we try and avoid those?
So we have, let's use David Layton for an example. Not that he's done anything wrong. I don't know that he has. But why should the county commissioners be spending their time nitpicking with him? They've been properly elected. They're doing their job. They didn't get into these positions, whether it's a county commissioner, a register of deeds, a sheriff, because they want to take advantage. In the final analysis, they're good-hearted people. We all have a different way of looking at things, and sometimes it's not right. If there's illegal behavior that's going on, then due diligence would require that the commissioners bring that to their attention, take the appropriate action. But nitpicking, we don't have time for that. We have a county that we need to get together and move forward in a positive way.
All right, same question goes to Mike Lynch.
Those are elected officials, and I do think that you need to let them do their job. I mean, we set up their budget, and if they stay in budget, I think that at that time, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. As far as the lawsuits, I mean, we do need to curb these lawsuits. We could be spending that money in those departments rather than spending them on lawyers, quite frankly. In what I do now as a rep, I mean, I deal with conflict all the time. I know and break down conflict between labor and management, and I've worked with all these people over the last 19 years in different issues with Genesee County. It would not be new for me to walk in their doors. I think it all starts with dialogue to start with. Instead of calling a lawyer first, what do you say we meet and try to sort this stuff out? It doesn't mean you're always going to meet, but we're on common ground. We've got Genesee County in its best interest.
Okay, the next question comes from Jason Cooper, and beginning the responses will be Andy Everman.
I think I heard all of you make mention to public safety, as public safety being important to the county and elsewhere within the county. Obviously, we all know the struggles that Flint's going through right now, and there's a possibility of more police cuts coming later this year. Do you see any way possible that the county could, maybe do more to help the city of Flint in terms of public safety, and also, maybe keeping the Flint City lockup open after state money runs out? What are your thoughts on public safety within Genesee County?
If Proposal 1 should pass, it will allow the municipalities to raise taxes to whatever level they need, according to the Senate Fiscal Agency's report, for any emergency services. If this is true from the Senate Fiscal Agency, and if they're allowed to do that, they will bring money to the table without a vote of the people. I'm concerned about that. The population does not have the answer, the opportunity to vote on whether or not they would like that money to go there. So from that perspective, I'm concerned about how Proposal 1 works as it relates to emergency services. I also, setting that now aside, I also believe working with our state police and our sheriff to begin a study to find a way that we can do mutual aid, mutual services, not that they don't already exist, but how we can build a program over the long term for a regional police force that can help facilitate this, albeit the police as well as the fire. I mean, there is a cost to government and services, and we as taxpayers need to pay it so that we can have the fire protection and police protection that we would like.
Same question goes now to Michael Lynch.
Public safety is the utmost important. Having said that, we're not going to fix this by more cuts, more layoffs. That's just not going. That's not going to fix it. I think that we can look at once again at some shared services. Maybe we can get some stuff done there. We need to, of course, look at the budget. But truly, the church needs money at this case. We have to do something to support our police and our firefighters to make sure that they're on the streets for our safety. If we don't back them up with some type of finances, they can't protect us. whether nobody likes taxes and nobody likes taxes whatsoever, but if you don't pay a little bit, then you can't have services. It's just that simple. You can't have both worlds. So you will not fix this through cuts. We're going to end up, I believe, as a community having to pony up a little bit.
All right, thank you. Same question, Bill Bain.
I think what we should do, getting back to the Genesee County Animal Control, again, that's a significant part of the budget. If we were to maybe adopt the same type of thing that Midland did, you'd save that revenue and you wouldn't lay those officers off. You'd reintegrate them into the Sheriff's Department, which would provide more police. That would be a good idea as far as doing that. That, again, where the Humane Society's taking that over and that revenue could be used elsewhere. Now, I fully support the police, and we need all the police officers we can get. I don't know if I got time to go over this. I was working on a workshop as far as like with more eyes and ears as far as MTA drivers, and I was working on an auto dialing system where we're upgrading the GPS and the system. So say there's like a crime in progress. It'd be like a code 1, they could go crime at the bus stop. GPS coordinates, auto dialing to 911. These are the kind of innovations we're trying to do with the MTA, and these are in the concept stages. So besides the police officers, who has more eyes and ears on the road? The bus drivers. So we're looking at maybe doing some training there, and you know, we don't need to live in fear, but we need to live in awareness, and we do need to fund the police properly. And if we need to jiggle things a little bit to go ahead and provide the funding for the resources where they need to go.
Okay. Michael Lynch, same question. Oh, wait a minute. No. We're moving on. Michael Lynch gets the next question, which is the final question, by the way, but not the last word, from George Moss.
I want to say again to the gentleman that you have done an excellent job. You thought these questions through, and I'm really impressed with your answers. We had, in our first meeting here, one of the counties that was the county commissioner, the head of it. And he stated that there were 2 instances where they had no bid contracts, and he thought that that was justifiable under whatever means that he was placing his justification under. What I want to ask you is do you see anything that would justify having contracts with taxpayers' money going to a person who did not bid for the contract, where you get the best bid on the table and you are paying respects to the taxpayers who are making the sacrifice to budget these items? So do you see any kind of condition where you would favor a giving a contract out without bids being made?
Well, I'm for bidding on any kind of contract that we can. All the people that I deal with